Welcome. This is a continuation of something I started on Spotify called the Value of Valor. I've been going through the Bible, studying out different women who we could consider women of valor. Most notably is the Proverbs 31 woman, who is called a woman of noble character, a woman of valor, someone who is a prime example of what we should aspire to be as women of God. The stories that I've explored so far are of women in the Bible who display a personal bravery and a realization of their worthiness. They are courageous. They display a kind of strength of mind and spirit that enable the women to be powerful warriors. Now that you have that introduction of what this video is about, my name is Millie and I am in Albuquerque. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, but most significant to me, I am a woman who is pursuing God, a relationship with Him. I'm pursuing deeper knowledge of Jesus and His heart and the principles that He taught. And that's another reason that I want to share what I'm gaining from my Bible reading. Today, I want to talk about Noah and her sisters. And I think not many people realize that there is a female Noah in the Bible, in addition to Noah who built the ark, which many of us know about. Noah and her sisters are featured in the book of Numbers, and their story really bring forth the theme of order, respect, reverence, and the value of speaking up. So in Numbers 26, the second census is taken of the Israelites, and the Israelites are recorded by family. And among the clans of Manasseh was the family of Zelophehad. Zelophehad had only daughters, and their names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And what's cool is I took some time to look at the meanings of each daughter's name. And when we think about how the Israelites have just been freed from slavery, they've wandered through the wilderness, and they're coming upon the promised land. It's really cool to look at their names considering all of that. Some meanings of Mahlah is tender, mild, pardon, forgiven, and dancing. Noah, the female version, means movement, emotion. Hoglah's name means partridge, dancing, or to circle. Milcah means queen, royalty, counselor, representing nobility, leadership, and strength, which is what was needed in order to get things established for the people of Israel. Lastly, Tirzah means she is my delight, pleasantness, favor, and her name is associated with kindness, charm, and strength, which I believe these women possessed as well. The second census of the Israelites did not include anyone who rebelled or grumbled against God while the Israelites were in the wilderness. Zelophehad was among those who died in the wilderness, but not as one who rebelled against God with Korah, but he was one who was part of the generation that God said would not enter the promised land. Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah came to Moses to claim their father's property. Because of the circumstances surrounding their father's death, they believed that his death should not disqualify them from an inheritance for their family. Zelophehad's daughters were doing something unprecedented by requesting land among their father's relatives, and it took some boldness and faith. After Moses took their case before God, God confirmed that what the women said was right and in line with God's fairness and goodness and righteousness. Because Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah spoke up, a model was then set in regards to land rights for God's people. And we'll read that in Numbers 27, 8 through 11. Say to the Israelites, if a man dies and leaves no son, give his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father has no brothers, give his inheritance to his nearest relative in his clan, that he may possess it. This is to have the force of law for the Israelites, as the Lord commanded Moses. In Numbers 36, we further get a picture of God's order and fairness when the question of inheritance by marriage comes up. After bringing the question to God, Moses shares the command with the people in Numbers 36, 5 through 12. Then at the Lord's command, Moses gave this order to the Israelites. What the tribe of the descendants of Joseph is saying is right. This is what the Lord commands for Zelophehad's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within their father's tribal clan. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from one tribe to another, for every Israelite shall keep the tribal inheritance of their ancestors. Every daughter who inherits land in any Israelite tribe must marry someone in her father's tribal clan, so that every Israelite will possess the inheritance of their ancestors. No inheritance may pass from one tribe to another, for each Israelite tribe is to keep the land it inherits. So Zelophehad's daughters did as the Lord commanded Moses. Zelophehad's daughters, Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, married their cousins on their father's side. They married within the clans of the descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and the inheritance remained in their father's tribe and clan. The story of Zelophehad's daughters brings to mind Galatians 4:7, which says, "So you are no longer a slave, but God's child. And since you are his child, God has made you also an heir." So God called the Israelites out of Egypt, out of slavery. He called both men and women to be his children, and both men and women to be heirs of the inheritance that he wanted for them. Because the women obeyed, they followed the command given to them through Moses, they were able to keep their inheritance. And I think the same is what we need to focus on today, is that it is through our obedience to God that we gain blessings and inheritance from him. I hope that this video has been helpful to encourage you to read the Bible for yourself, to study it deeply, and especially to look at the women in the Bible who often are overlooked. We know many of the stories of men in the Bible, and they're just as impactful and important. But I think it's important that we also learn about women in the Bible so that we can, especially if you're a woman, be inspired and encouraged and look for great examples of faith and courage, so that you can live that way as well. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you'll watch the next one.